Welcome back. In this session, we're going to look at some basic HTML. So first of all, we're going to open up a new document. We're going to go to File, New, and we're going to create a new HTML5 document, and we're going to click on Create. If you haven't got your environment set up in this way, you can always see another video called Setting Up Dreamweaver for Coding, and this enables you to have a split screen so you can actually see the code and also the GUI. So for a title, we can actually put in here, Introduction to HTML, and you notice that in the design view you don't actually see anything because it's within the title part or the header part of the document. For something to appear on a page, it must occur between the body tags. Now the body tags are important, and so therefore in here we can actually type in something like www.lmarsden.com, and when you click over in the design view you can actually see that appear now. If I wanted to type something underneath this, like Leon Marsden, and click over here, you notice it's actually come next to the actual word. Now you've got to remember that hypertext markup language, or HTML, is using plain text and using what are called tags to actually mark them up. So if I wanted to put a line between these, I can actually use what's called a break tag. So after the .com, I can open up a brace, I can put the BR tag in there and close that. And what that will do is actually put a break between this line and this line. So when I click back in my design view, you notice that the BR tag's been applied and it's moved to the next line. Now, if you'd like to do something like bold, we can actually use the B tag. So I would like bolding to start here. And then the thing with bold tags, you have to turn them off. Unlike the break tag, which is a normal like line return, with a bold tag, we actually have to turn it off. So at the end of where I would like it to finish, if I use a close symbol, so open brace, close, and in Dreamweaver, once I push that /, it automatically looks for the last open tag and will actually type the rest of that in for you. So when I click in my design view now, you notice that the www.lmarsden.com is now bolded because of the B tags, and the Leon Marsden is not bolded because there's no other information around that. If I would like to turn this italics, once again, I can turn on the I tag. And at the end, once I open up the brace and go /, it knows that the I tag's open and types that for me. So when I click over here, it turns Leon Marsden italics. Now, if I just want Leon italics, I could just copy this or cut this out and paste it just after Leon. When I click over here, you notice that Leon's actually italics and Marsden is not. You can also concatenate tags. So if I wanted to, I could also have Leon bolded and Marsden bolded, but only have Leon italics. So the bold is turned on much like a tab and will keep running until it gets to the close bold tag. Italics is turned on at the same time, but that is turned off just after Leon. So when I click on the design view side, I should actually see Leon bold italics and only Marsden as bold. And we can see those. Now some other tags you can use. This is just using a break tag here, which is going to the next line. Another way you can actually define some information is using the paragraph tag. This is a very common tag used in HTML, and what this defines is a start and an end of a paragraph or a block. So when I click over here, you notice the gap between the two is a lot greater than a break tag. So like a BR tag or the break tag is like a soft return on a word processor, but a paragraph tag is actually a differentiation between one paragraph and another paragraph. Another tag I can use is a heading tag. Now a heading tag is a pre-formatted one for HTML. It's the largest tag that you can have for titling. So the H1 tag is very, very large. Notice it's the same font class, but it's actually used the largest font. And this has 6 different sizes. So I can actually copy these down. And I can actually change this to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and close them off respectively. And you can actually see the different size headings that you can actually have. Notice it's got the same sort of break as a paragraph tag has, but it's using the heading tag. So we've looked at bold and italics, we've looked at the heading tag, we've looked at the break tag. Another tag that I like to use is actually the pre-format tag. So let's have a look at some text. So here is a body of text. So when I click over here, you notice that it wraps around. Notice that we haven't got a paragraph tag around the Marsden or Leon Marsden, and you notice that the text just continues on. So what we need to do is put a break in there. So rather than a paragraph tag, I'm just going to put the BR tag in there. And now when I click over here, you see the return. Text will naturally wrap. Because the text is not contained within a container, it will just wrap and be dynamic as it expands and contracts. I can then once again go through and just apply tags at random. So once again, I can put a bold tag in here, and I can also close the bold tag here. And now HTML is just bolded. So you can see that we can apply tags as we go through, and we actually start adding tags to different things. We can rapid develop things as well, and this is one of the great things about Dreamweaver. We can click on Window and go to Properties. Now this is the Properties panel. In here, you notice we've got the HTML selected at the moment, and we've got bold and italics. So we can actually go into like Learn to Code, and I can click on bold and I can click on italics, and you notice that it's actually applying some of those tags as well. It's also using some of the newer HTML5 tags such as strong. Now a lot of time the properties panel is very, very useful. So I normally click on the little arrow, much the same as in other applications of Adobe. You can actually put it down to a floating palette, and you can place this somewhere on your screen to help. So I normally put it down in the bottom corners of my website. So in this case here, I'm going to just put it down the left so it can open up at the bottom and close. So this enables you to easily get access when you're working on the right hand side. Some people like to have it just inside the window here, and therefore you know that that's working with the design features. Now we're talking about the pre-tag before. Now the pre-tag uses pre-formatted text. So I'm going to put in PRE, I'm going to use it all in lowercase, and open that tag. Now what this allows us to do is I can put an A out here, and you've noticed in sometimes we've talked about the wrapping of text. So once we put this out without paragraphs or the tags, I'm using a pre. We would expect this would just be a straight line of A's with one A and the other three A's next to it. But the pre-formatted one, the pre-tag, allows us to build really cool looking things if we wanted to. So I can actually have this looking a little bit like a Christmas tree. Now when I click over on the right hand side, you'll notice something a little bit different. The pre-tag's actually broken the rules about the development window. But we can actually save this file now, so I can go Save As, and I can call it HTML. And now when I go to the bottom right hand corner, I can click on the little world and actually say Preview in Chrome. And you notice now that the tree appears here formatted correctly, where in the design view it's straight A's. So we normally don't use the pre-tag a great deal these days, but it is a useful tool to know if you're trying to design something out of word art. So I'll just delete these out, and let's go have a look at ordered lists. To create an ordered list, we're just going to put some text on the page. So I'm just going to press enter after here. You notice it's already put some paragraph tags in for us to separate. And I'm going to put in option 1, option 2, option 3. So at the moment it's using the paragraph tag to define the text. So we can actually highlight these, and we can actually use the properties panel to put in an ordered list for us. Now to do that, I'm going to select the unordered list, and you notice that the code for an unordered list is UL, and then you have your list items. So this begins the unordered list and ends the unordered list, and then the list items, LIs, are list items. So if I wanted to add a fourth one to there, I could actually just open up the list item and go option 4, and then I can close the list item. Once again, just push the / When I click back over here, it adds it to it. Notice that the formatting again is using like a break return, etc., and it moves down nicely and it gives us that little dot. If I wanted to change this to an ordered list rather than unordered, all I have to do is change this to OLs. So if I go OL here and OL here, it actually turns this from an ordered list to, or an unordered list to an ordered list. So it's very simple to do that in code. Otherwise, once again, you could actually highlight the area, click on properties, and use the GUI to do that for us. So this gives you a basic introduction to HTML commands. In other videos, we'll look at specialized things such as tables and also hyperlinks in images.